The first payment for the close-up trip to Washington, D.C. is due soon, and boy is it a big decision financially. But guess what?
I'm here!
Yes, you heard me right. I've arrived in Washington, D.C. and decided to take you all with me for a little trip to show you some of the things you'll see if you choose to go on the Washington, D.C. trip and hopefully help you decide if it's worth it. The first stop my family and I made was to the Washington Monument, and geez, was it huge! I don't think you all realize how big it is until you stand next to it and look up. It is definitely a sight to see. Next stop was the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. It was so beautiful, from the architecture to the Thomas Jefferson statue in the middle. Everything about it was so pretty, and the paragraphs on the wall are worth reading if you attend the trip. The George Mason Memorial was the next place we stopped to take a peek at. Not too many people remember George Mason, therefore there weren't many people at his memorial, but I think it was my favorite stop. The fountain in the middle was gorgeous, and the bench with George Mason sitting there was so cool. I was able to sit right next to him, and it was such an awesome picture opportunity. The FDR Memorial was very interesting. It was long, but it was like walking through all the years he was a leader, and there were stories to each section you walked through. There were also many water features that were so amazing, and I think I have a better understanding of how important FDR was to America. Up next was the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. This was huge, obviously not as big as the Washington Monument, but it was still big. It's crazy that he was carved out of sandstone. The DC War Memorial was so stunning. If you stand in the middle and look up, the ceiling is wondrous. As I was trying to get a video of me standing on the steps, this happened. My family was cracking up, but at the time I was not happy. The World War II Memorial was our next stop. I didn't expect it to be that large in size. It takes a while to walk around the whole thing, but it was worth it because you could see all the states, and many people were taking photos next to their state that they came from, and it was kind of cool to see many people from so many places come to these monuments and memorials. We even got to meet someone from Scotland. Right across from the World War II Memorial is the Lincoln Memorial. This was definitely the busiest spot in DC. There were so many people, but it was worth it because you could only see it in pictures most of the time. I would recommend reading what is engraved on each wall to the left and to the right of Lincoln. One of our last stops was to the Vietnam Memorial. It was a lot to take in. On each of the walls read so many names of the people who died fighting in the Vietnam War, and it was quite sad. There were notes stuck in the cracks of the walls addressed to the people who have died. There were also flowers for them and little red gems too. We also went to the White House, but I could barely see it. I still couldn't believe that I saw it in real life though. Plus I got to see the National Christmas tree. I wish it was all lit up with the lights, but it's only October. Another stop we made was to the Capitol building, and I can't explain to you how huge it was. My family and I also went to the Holocaust Museum and the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, but I'll let you see it for yourself. And there you have it, some of the places you'll see on the close-up trip. I'll leave you with 4 tips of advice. 1. Bring cash and change because there are many food trucks and gift shops. 2. Bring your own snacks because the food and drinks are expensive. 3. This is a lot of walking, so make sure you're prepared for that. And finally, 4. Don't go on your phone the whole time. Look up and explore.